My name is Ryan Cleary, your Member of Parliament for St. John's, South Mount Pearl, and this is your weekly video blog update. We began this week with a monumental victory, a sweet victory. There was real fear in Newfoundland and Labrador and the whole Atlantic coast that the federal Conservatives were preparing to potentially eliminate the owner-operator fleet separation policy, a long-standing policy that protects the traditional inshore fishery. After a relentless attack by the New Democrats, by my party, the Conservatives late last week backed off on that. So that's now off the table. There's no fear about that happening now. At the same time, the way we see it, the federal Conservatives have launched a two-prong attack on Atlantic Canada. One was with the elimination of that policy, and the other is with the changes to employment insurance. Changes that will further drain what life that we have in rural communities. So that's another major fight that we have on our hands. At the same time that the changes to employment insurance are happening, what we're seeing another phenomenon in rural Newfoundland where migrant workers from other countries are being brought in to replace traditional fish plant workers, for example. Anyway, we launched an attack in the House of Commons, countless questions during question period. I asked one such question. Let's show a clip of that.
The honourable member for St. John's, South Mount Pearl.
Mr. Speaker, here's a scenario faced by a new mother in my riding. I spoke with her last night. Doreen is a French teacher who's been on maternity benefits since January. 2 weeks ago, she was offered a part-time job of 4 hours a week teaching French from her computer at her home. But with the new EI changes, she'll lose 50 cents on the dollar. And by the time taxes are removed from her paycheck, she'll barely have enough to pay for diapers. She won't have enough to pay for diapers. Mr. Speaker, why is this government punishing new mothers?
The Honourable Minister.
Right across this great country of ours, we have, despite high unemployment rates in some areas, shortages of skills and labour. And in many cases, the EI system has discouraged people from working. The changes we're making are going to help most Canadians be better off when they work than when they don't. That's the objective, Mr. Speaker, because we need all the skills and talented work that we can possibly get.
There's more news this week on the employment insurance front. I also sit on the House of Commons Standing Committee on Human Resources, and there was a motion before the committee this past Thursday that our next study be on apprenticeship programs across Canada. On behalf of the federal New Democrats, I put forward my own motion this week, and that motion was that our next study be on the changes to employment insurance that impact every nook and cranny of this country. The whole discussion about those two motions this past Thursday was held in camera, which means I can't talk about anything that was said. All I can say is to stay tuned to see what the next study will be from the Human Resources Committee. That's it. The last thing I want to mention this week is motion 312, and it was a motion put forward by Conservative MP Stephen Woodworth. And it was a motion that basically would have reopened the abortion debate. And it went to a vote on the floor of the House of Commons, and it was defeated. But I can say this. I have taken part now in literally hundreds of votes in the House of Commons. And this one was different from any other. The atmosphere in the House was tense. There was almost dead silence as the vote was taking place, as people paid attention to who was voting for it and who was voting against it. But I can say this. Every single New Democrat voted against it. And I've never been prouder.